Hello everyone, my name is Dhanush. My roll number is 136. Today I will be presenting on the topic Android Manifest Overview. So first, let's go through the introduction. The Android Manifest.xml file is the heart of every Android application project. It acts as a communication bridge between apps code and Android operating system. And this file defines the app structure, permissions, components, and system requirements. So without the proper manifest file, the Android OS cannot install, run, or manage the app. So these are basically the permissions which the app requires so it can run properly. It is automatically created when you start a new Android Studio project. So every Android app has a special file called Android Manifest.xml. So it's like a heart of the project. It connects the app code with the Android operating system. The manifest tells the system everything it needs to know about the app, like what component it has, what permission it needs, and what version of Android it supports. Without this file, the app simply cannot be installed to run. The good part is the Android Studio automatically creates it when it starts a new project. As we gone through the introduction, we have got the basic idea. So let's now learn about the purpose of Android Manifest. It identifies and organizes all the key components of an app, such as activities, services, broadcast receivers, and content providers. The manifest declares permission to protect user privacy and ensure safe app operation. It specifies the app hardware and software requirements, helping Google Play filter compatible devices. It provides metadata such as app name, icon, themes, and visioning details. It enables integration with system level features like launchers, notification, and background processes. So basically, the purpose of Android Manifest is to identify and organize all the key parts of the app. It lists things like activities, services, broadcast receivers, and content providers. It declares permissions which help protect the user's privacy. The manifest also defines hardware and software requirements so that only compatible devices can install the app. So if it's made for the latest version, the previous version it will install, but it won't run properly. Otherwise, if it is even lower than the required uh, software, it will not. We can't able to install it. Finally, it contains metadata like app's name, icon, theme, vision details. Overall, it acts as the bridge between developer code and Android system. As we have gone through the purpose of the manifest file, we learn about the structure of manifest file. So the main elements include manifest, which is the root element, application, which contains the app components, activity, which declares UI screens. Then there are service, receiver, providers, which define background and data components. And user permissions, user SDK, define app compatibilities. So the structure of manifest file is made of several key elements. The main tag is the manifest, which is the root element. So you always start with it. Inside it, we have a application which contain all the app components. Then there are tags like activity for screens, service receivers, provider for background and data features. We also use users permission to declare permissions and users SDK to define Android vision requirements. Now that we know the structure of a manifest file, I will take you through as a small example. Here is a small snippet of a manifest file. So this file is basically the permission file which the app requires. So let's go through it. So first we have the manifest tag, which include the package name. Inside there is the application tag. We define details like the Android label, Android icon. Here, then we declare an activity, for example, my activity, and use intent filter to make it the main launcher activity. This tells Android that activity should open first when the app starts. Now we will go through declaring permissions. Permissions protect both the user and the system from unauthorized access. Developers must explicitly declare any resource or data access required by the app. Common permissions include internet access, camera, which we use to image capture or video, and access file location, so the GPS. Each permission must be declared uses permissions tag before the application element. As Android 6.0 Marshmallow, users must also grant permissions at runtime for sensitive data. So, permissions are very important in Android apps. They help protect users from both unwanted access and, for example, if our app needs internet or GPS, we must clearly mention it in the manifest. Common permissions are internet, camera, and access file location. Each permission is written using user's permission tag. Since Android 6.0, users must also give permission at runtime for sensitive data like location or contacts. App components declaration. The manifest acts as a directory for all app components, activities which represent UI screens where user interaction occurs. Services perform background operation like downloading files or playing music. Broadcast receivers handle system-wide events such as network changes or alarms. Content providers enable data sharing between apps or within apps. Each component must be declared for the system to recognize and manage it properly. So for it to run, we should include all of these like activities, services, broadcast receivers, and content providers. So our app will run without any errors. Metadata and intent filters. So first, let's go through what metadata means, and then we'll follow through intent filters. Metadata elements provide additional configuration or information to the Android system or third-party services. Intent filters specify how an app's component can respond to various intents, action triggered by users or other apps. So this is basically the notifications. For example, an intent filter can make an activity appear as an option when sharing content. They enable deep linking and interrupt communication, making apps more flexible and interactive. Proper use of metadata and intent improve experience and system integration. So the metadata gives extra information about the app to the system or other services. Intent filters are used to define how app responds to certain actions or data types. For example, if your app can share an image, an intent filter lets it appear in the share options. They help enable features like deep learning and communication between apps. Using them properly makes apps more flexible and user friendly. Now that we have an idea of what manifest file does, we will go through the common mistakes in manifest. So the typical errors include missing or incorrect permissions, causing app crashes or restricted functionality, or incorrectly defining activity names or intent filters may prevent app from launching. Forgetting to update the manifest when adding new component leads to runtime errors. Using deprecated tags or outdated SDK attributes can cause compatibility issues. Always validate and test your manifest file after every major app modification. So for an app to run, first our manifest file has to be correct. Otherwise, the app won't launch at all. So many developers make small mistakes in the manifest file which cause big problems. For example, forgetting a permission can make an app crash or lose features. Misspelling an activity name can cause an app from not launching. Sometimes developers forget to update manifest after adding a new feature. Also, using old or deprecated tags can cause compatibility issues. That's why it's important to test and validate manifest file often. Otherwise, our app won't run. Conclusion. The Android manifest XML file serves as a foundation for Android app configuration. It ensures the Android system can properly understand, install, and execute the application by defining permissions, metadata, and components. It maintains both functionality and security. A well-organized manifest improves performance, compatibility, and developer efficiency. Understanding and maintaining this file is crucial for every Android developer. To sum up, the Android manifest file is the foundation. It helps system understand, install, and app correctly. It defines permissions, metadata, and app components that ensure app works safely and smoothly. A well-written manifest file improves the security and compatibility. So mastering this file is the very skill for every Android developer. Thank you for listening.